This is JJ Solomon.
This is Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? We are live, not from the beautiful scenery of our studio because of Mother Nature today, but we decided to go live and play it safe tonight from the comfort of our own homes. JJ Solomon here with the Spit Bucket Podcast. Mr. IOTBA, do you come in?
Mr. RTBA, Mr. 214, Mr. D Boys can't touch me on my worst day. What's poppin'? Spit Bucket Podcast. Shout out to everybody on here from the 214 to across the pond. What's poppin', JJ Solomon?
Man, it's been a weird day, huh? We went from drought to drowning. I'm glad to see you not soaked, man.
Hey, you seen some of the news clips? Did you see that black girl? They asked her, how was it out here? She said, how was it? I almost drowned.
He said almost
We're gonna use that because
how was it? I almost drowned.
We're gonna use that.
Yeah, for those of you guys who aren't in DFW, who are watching, the weather's bad. We had a lot of flooding today, so they shut down a lot of major streets within the communities, and even in downtown, a lot of the exits and stuff were flooded out. So we didn't want to take a chance of getting stranded now or later in the evening, so we decided to play it safe. So here we are. I'm getting complaints about my microphone, so give me a.
What they said, Jay?
They said they can't hear me. They can't
hear you because of.
Am I coming in a little bit better, man?
I can hear you. Hey, can y'all hear me good though?
Where's the chat? Let's check the chat out. We're doing a different setting, so I want to make sure we can see the chat and all that good stuff too. There they are right there. All right, cool. So we've got money on Mar the Machine. All right.
Money, Mar the Machine. What's popping?
How's everybody doing, man? All right, cool. Can everybody hear us okay?
I'm trying to show this video much as I can before we get started. Shout out to our sponsors, though. KO Therapeutic. We need everybody to go to KO Therapeutic.
It's KOCBD, KOCBD.com.
KOCBD.com. The best pain recovery from the 214 to across the pond. I'm talking to all athletes, boxers, regular Joes, because you may do something that calls you to use your body. KO Therapeutic.
KOCBD.com, discount code TSB10. Listen, Corey, we have a lot to cover. Busy weekend. Before we get started, let's let our friends know what KOCBD is all about. Check out this commercial. Stay tuned because right after we're going to get into a loaded weekend for combat sports.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. We are all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
As y'all see on there, If y'all go to KOCBD.com and put in TSB10, that's our code. That'll give you a discount.
And listen, it's cool, man, because notice we each have a bottle at home. We're not at the studio. We didn't know we weren't going to be a studio. So we got our props at the studio, and we got the real stuff at home. We're not just talking noise. We're each using this. And my whole family was using it this weekend.
Oh, God.
Weekend for the fight. So shout out to everybody in the comments, guys. We're doing a $250 drawing right at 8 o'clock again. So in 45 minutes, we're going to do the drawing for everybody who is following us on other platforms. But if you go and follow us on YouTube, we're gonna put your name in the drawing. Just add your name in the comments that you follow us on YouTube. If you're already a YouTube subscriber, go to KO Therapeutics on Facebook or Instagram. Follow them. Once you're following them, throw your name on the comments, and then we will go. We will do that drawing that was supposed to happen last week. It didn't happen last week because the gracious CEO of KO Therapeutics was the guy who won. He said he didn't want that money, so he gave it right back so we can do a drawing tonight. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Our followers appreciate it, and it just shows how good a person you are and how good a company you guys are, looking to give back to the community, your customers, and these partnerships. So we appreciate it. But right off the bat, Corey, Mr. IOTBA.
3-3.
Rematch for heavyweight championship of the world. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. 2.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think, homie? You look like you just got caught doing something bad.
Oh, no, I ain't get caught doing nothing. Man, shout out to Alexander Usyk, bro. Like in real life, like he came and showed the first fight wasn't no fluke. When you talk about masterclass boxing performance against an extremely bigger guy, Alexander Usyk done did the unthinkable. First being undisputed cruiserweight champ, Jose Jr. Now, him being one belt away from being undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Like, when I think about this guy, Alexander Usyk, I'm thinking now numero uno.
Pound for pound?
Pound for pound. I'm thinking numero uno on the pound for pound list. It's just clear cut, no debate. I know everybody want to say, oh, Terence Crawford this, Terence Crawford. No. Terence Crawford only fight once a year, and they don't look like he's finna fight again this year. Alexander Usyk is even consistent when this whole country prayers to him in the Ukraine for going through a war.
Bro, you're 100% right, man. It was a brilliant performance by Usyk. He was ready, dude. He was ready. There, even after the brilliant performance on the first fight, there were still a lot of people. And I think Mr. Retamar on the screen right now, shout out to Jason, man. Big follower, supporter of the show. We appreciate you, homie. I'm pretty sure he was picking AJ. And listen, there was really one plan of attack, right? In my opinion, I think Jason mentioned it for 2 weeks leading up to the fight. You had to change something up. A little bit more movement, a more sustained attack to the body, because obviously that was working. Corey, we talked about it all week last week. We talked about the new trainer. We talked about the chance of it happening. Did you see the adjustments? And were there enough of them, man? What'd you think about that?
I seen an adjustment early in the first 2-3 rounds, maybe. And that's what he was doing a lot of. He was going down a lot. He was getting lower a lot. I seen that adjustment. But other than that, I seen absolutely nothing. And JJ Solomon, me and you talked about this. We knew Robert Garcia was going to do nothing for Anthony Joshua. What? You going to get him in shape, get the pads, whoop-de-whoop, without no other outside work or proof that showed that you two mix like sugar and Kool-Aid? We didn't have no evidence of that. And it showed when Anthony Joshua got frustrated, JJ, he went back to that same old guy.
Exactly right, man. And listen, Robert Garcia said it himself. It was impossible. Anthony Joshua was afraid to let go of the hands because what is impossible is to fix the mental piece of not wanting to get hit. It's impossible. So yeah, Joshua did show, he, like you said, there was some movement, there was some changing of the levels. That he wasn't as stationary. He was still pretty stationary, but as stationary as he was in the first time. And there was more of a sustained attack to the body, but it just wasn't enough. And this was what I was worried about when he went to Robert Garcia. And then right after he didn't even have a practice fight. You can't just go with a brand new camp and say, all right, well, let's go for the heavyweight championship of the world. We saw him. It didn't look comfortable. It didn't look smooth. It looked like he was focusing on what he learned instead of just letting go of his skills, letting it go, letting it show in the ring. So I feel like he was thinking too much about what he learned in practice because it was a brand new setup. And again, it showed in the ring. I mean, you had the scorecards 9-3, 10-2.
9-3, 10-2.
Yeah, and I think a lot of folks
I didn't even think this fight was close. Like Anthony Joshua had a couple of moments in a couple of rounds. But if you look at that fight as a whole, with the rapid fire that Alexander Usyk was throwing his punches in combinations compared to Anthony Joshua, throwing one punch, hold up, maybe two punch, hold up, JJ, we're going to jump up like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz and kick our feet together and say it ain't no place like home. If he threw a combination, he rarely did that through a fight. Everybody got to understand. It's about the moment, right? A lot of people feed off the moment. And we know Anthony Joshua, when it comes to Abu Dhabi fighting over there, that's their guy. So when Anthony Joshua landed like maybe 3 or 4 punches in a round, people got excited. But the round is a full 3 minutes. And when I was looking at Alexander Usyk, he was putting on the clinic all night long. Credit to Anthony Joshua. I mean, he showed the heart and determination, to take this rematch. And, he did try. But Alexander Usyk was just that much better.
Dude, I said this last week. People weren't talking about Usyk enough. And again, I don't mean the followers of boxing. I mean, like if you go talk to your cousin at a barbecue, they're going to say, who's Usyk? I think that last weekend, a lot of the coverage it was getting, man, I think he really is starting to solidify himself as not only a damn good boxer, but a character. He had all the antics. He had the singing at the weigh-in. He had the crazy-ass hair. He looked like a psychopath, bro. He looked like a serial killer. He's developing that identity that's going to sell some tickets. Because I tell you what, man, and shout out to Mac Ma, bro. A big friend of the show, bro. Thanks for the love. He says salute to the Spit Bucket Podcast, salute to the chat, and he's right, salute to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, if you haven't went and liked our friends at KO Therapeutics on Facebook, go and give them a shout out. We're doing a drawing at 8 o'clock for everybody who goes and likes their social media. $250.
Hey, go like their social media.
We got about 25 people in the drawing, so your chances are good for $250 tonight. But shout out to Mac Mob. Let me get this off. Yeah, man, but listen, we know Fury, can sell a pay-per-view. We know AJ can sell a pay-per-view. I think this weekend they handed the torch, man, because now we're talking about Fury and Usyk, bro. Like, Fury and Usyk. It's very, very makeable. Usyk, as of Saturday, is a free agent. We know that Fury's or Top Rank and what's his name? Aegis, the management for Usyk, same management for Lomachenko, who's a top ranked fighter. So we know the fight can happen because they work together. It sounds like they both want that fight to happen. Are you excited? Do you think it's going to happen? How soon do you think it's going to happen? And what do you think is going to happen at that fight? Tell me about your thoughts on Fury, Usyk for undisputed heavyweight championship of the world.
First off, Alexander Usyk, just like you were saying, JJ, he showed another level of himself, bringing out that character that's going to vibrate from the 214 to across the pond. That's what we talk about with these fighters on the regular. It's about having that feel. So you 100% accurate on Alexander Usyk bringing that appeal to boxing and leading into that, fighting another guy who brings that appeal 100 times more than Alexander Usyk, and that's in Tyson Fury. When I look at this fight, it's intriguing because you got to look at one guy, Alexander Usyk, who chasing history by, I think, becoming the first fighter to be undisputed in 2 divisions. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's ever happened in boxing before.
I don't think so.
Then you got Tyson Fury, right? He done did everything possible that he could do in the sport. Like, it's a real chance Tyson Fury could come back and really lose this fight to Alexander Usyk, right? And that could reign his entire legacy. But we still respect Tyson Fury for what he did, absolutely. But my thing is, do Tyson Fury want to risk coming back and getting that stain, possibly, against Alexander Usyk?
Bro, I think it's an easy decision. I think that despite Usyk's extreme skill set, the man is a badass, dude. Like I said, the biggest knock is I would say his power maybe doesn't carry the heavyweight because he's a naturally smaller guy. But with all that being said about Usyk and his greatness and probably putting him number 1 pound for pound on our next pound for pound list, which wouldn't be absurd, Tyson Fury is so much bigger than him. It's not just a little bit. Even AJ coming in at 250, 255 last week on Saturday, he still looked slim in there. He still looked lean. But you're talking about Tyson Fury, who's not just taller, bigger, heavier, dude. Tyson Fury knows how to use his weight, too. He'll lean on you. AJ wasn't leaning on him. AJ wasn't using that size advantage. So I say all that to say Tyson Fury can come out of retirement and, make a huge, huge paycheck, another legacy-defining paycheck. He'll come in for undisputed, and he'll come in leaving. If it goes the way I think it would go, again, not a knock on Usyk, but I think Tyson Fury leaves and retires the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I think it's a no-brainer for Team Fury, bro. I think he has to come out. There's no obstacles in the way, man. Like, nothing in the way. So
I agree. And when I look at that fight, Jay, I favor Tyson Fury absolutely. When I look at a guy like that going up against a guy like Usyk, he's just as skilled as Usyk. He can move around the ring just as Usyk, but he's bigger than Usyk and can do that. I mean, Usyk done did the unthinkable. Nobody didn't pick Usyk to beat Anthony Joshua the first time. I mean, a lot of people had him beat him the second time, but this dude that came up from cruiserweight, and his record is impeccable: 20-0, 13 knockouts, undisputed in cruiserweight, 1 belt away from being undisputed in heavyweight. Oh, that's a mega matchup,
bro. I hope. Again, we've been talking about how great boxing has been to us, dude. Imagine just adding that cherry on top with undisputed heavyweight champ of the world, dude. Oh, we're right there. We're right there to be able to this moment in boxing history. And look, just announced today the Haney-Kambosos rematch on October 15th. Like, boxing just keeps giving and giving and giving this year. It's like they're making up for all their years of pain and agony and sorrow and all that stuff. So, yeah, I hope it happens. I think Fury takes it. I think Usyk is a brilliant, brilliant boxer. The guy's a genius in the ring, and I think if anybody could come up with a game plan to win that fight, it would be Usyk. So I will never count his ass out. But man, I just think it's too much money and too much of a legacy builder for either one of those guys to not sign that fight.
And this was crazy, Jay. Look, when we look at Alexander Usyk, and Tyson Fury, them wasn't the two guys that we were looking at to have this moment for Undisputed. It was Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk, and they were the two fighters who dethroned them guys. But when they say boxing is the theater of the unexpected, well, that is 100% big facts.
Dude, no doubt about it, brother. We didn't talk too much about, not yet. I know it was going to come up. But Anthony Joshua's post-fight antics. What went on? What happened? It was a brand new side of Anthony Joshua that we never seen, where he's getting the belts and throwing them outside of the ring and just kind of acting out, man. We've been talking a lot about mental health and all that, and it seemed like it seeped a little bit after it seeped into an actual fight where we could all see it with our own eyes. What are your thoughts about it?
With Anthony Joshua, I don't know if it was more mental health. Like I said, I'm not 100% accurate on that. I'm thinking it's more of his pride and his ego was super hurt. Because when we look at a guy like Anthony Joshua, every person thus far in his career, before he lost to Usyk again Saturday night, he beat. Anthony Joshua had the confidence. You know, he had the mind frame. You heard his whole camp saying all week, months long, 3 times. You heard them saying that, Jose Jr. So I think it was more of his ego and his pride hurt. Like, was that a good look for Anthony Joshua? Absolutely not. He deserves to be criticized for his acts that he did. Like, this is a thing right here. I knew that they would, when I seen them say Usyk was the champion, I had to run in there and check on my baby, right? I ain't know until Saturday night when I came over your house and we watched Usman versus Edwards, Navarrete versus who he fight? I forgot his name. We watched them fight, you know, Anthony Joshua. But I ain't know Anthony Joshua had went over there and dropped the belts, JJ, like that. Did he think he really won this fight?
No, I don't think he thought. I don't know what was going on, man. I seen a couple of interviews today, but he I think he apologized. He may have apologized or implied that, you know, his emotions got the best of him. But bro, I don't know, dude. It was like you said, his pride, dude. Pride is an ugly thing. He did make mention, and I didn't really understand what he meant by this, but he said that or Eddie Hearn said that he lost faith in the system. I don't know what that meant. I was hoping you did when I threw it to you because I just read it a little bit ago. So what system could he be talking? Could he be talking about that weird scorecard of 115 and 113? Maybe system?
Yeah, that was really weird. See, the thing about it, that was a unanimous victory for Usyk.
No
doubt. I'm glad you brought it up. Like, who was that judge? This is what's wrong. This is one of the things that's wrong with boxing, JJ.
Yeah, no doubt.
And no one can convince me of this. This has been happening for years. And we ain't been like Allen Iverson and got the answer yet to see how these judges are scoring this scorecard. How was it 115, 113 for Anthony Joshua? Like, I know it's nobody from the 214, wherever they had to across the pond, who had Anthony Joshua winning on the scorecard. That was ridiculous. And the thing about it, I don't like when there's scorecards like that. In boxing, I feel like that judge needs to be brought to light. They need to let us know who they is, and they need to reprimand them type of judges when it's so clear cut like that.
Dude, think about this. I want you to really think about this. With those official scorecards, not unofficial scorecards, we're not talking about Chris Manning's scorecard. We're talking about official scorecards. Had Alexander Usyk lost the 12th round, he would have lost that fight. No, hold on. That would have been a draw because it would have put it at one. Still, regardless, think about that. After that dominant performance. So when Anthony Joshua said, I lost faith in the system, which is quoted by Eddie Hearn, is that what he's talking about?
Huh?
I said, is that what he's talking about when he said I lost faith in the system, or is there some stuff behind the scene that maybe we don't know about?
No, I just think he's delusional, right? I just think that's one of them delusional. I think, listen, understandable. When you be the best, and then somebody dethroned you and it just came from out of nowhere, like when Forrest Gump was running and said, something bit me. It's understandable to act like that. Everybody got pride. But damn, Anthony Joshua, you crossed the line when you dropped the belts. You must understand that was a total disrespect to Alexander Usyk because you and your little hurt feelings because you lost the fight. Think what Alexander Usyk had on his shoulders. We seen how when they said he won, how the tears just started flooding from his eye. He knew everything that his country was going through. That was all on his shoulders. And he was still able to stay built for it, tough, and make it through this and become the winner. And I think that was a hell of a disservice for Anthony Joshua to drop them belts.
Drop the belt and also take the microphone and completely hijack the entire celebration and the interview and everything and make it all about him. I understand that after the fight you're emotional. I get it, and I'm not going to say it. Everybody handles stuff in certain ways, but Anthony Joshua can't claim to be a gentleman and all of this stuff and then come out here and just completely have a lapse in his character. So, hey, man, as long as he addressed it, I'm good with it. He looked silly as hell. He looked real silly doing that. Usyk, it was awkward to watch. It was tense. It was uncomfortable, man. And so, man, I don't know. I hope but listen, Anthony Joshua's career ain't over if he doesn't want it to be.
No, it's not over, but you know what was most uncomfortable about it? Why is you grabbing the mic first? This wasn't your time, Anthony Joshua. Yep. This was Alexander Usyk's time to shine. That's what was so disrespectful. And that's the criticism Anthony Joshua should be flooded with, like we was from last night to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here in Dallas, Texas, with criticism for snatching that man moment away from him.
Bad look, man. But all in all, it's a good look for the heavyweight scene. The heavyweight outlook is still bright. Whatever ends up happening, we have the Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius fight lined up. That should obviously play a factor in what's going to happen with the potential winner of Fury and Usyk. So, how do you think that? Hey, before we talk more heavyweight, just a reminder, guys, for those of you who aren't following just yet, if you're watching on Facebook, jump over to our YouTube, the Spit Bucket Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know in the comments that you're subscribed. If you're already subscribed on YouTube, go follow our friends at KOCBD. Go search KOCBD in Facebook. Follow them on their social media, also on Instagram. Then go and leave a comment. We'll throw you in a drawing. Here in about 20 minutes, we're going to do a drawing for $250 for our new subscribers and new followers of our friends over at KOCBD. These guys are the leader in pain management, recovery, and I use them. I use them every day now. So thank you guys because you're making my life a lot more comfortable. Craig can tell you, he's seen me sprawl down on the airport floor.
Before we get to this next topic, let's remind them who KO Therapeutic is. Play that commercial for me.
Play that back. Play that back. Play that back.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I am absolutely, I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
TSB 10, don't forget to use it when you're buying it. For all you dads who got kiddos who got poofiness, their balm is an anti-inflammatory balm. So not only is it relieving the pain, it's taking down the inflammation, the physical inflammation, the internal inflammation as well. And then the drops are more of a long-term solution. Take about 5 to 7 days if you put them in your water, drinking them every day. But still, pain, relief, and recovery. I'm telling you, I'm a living testimony of it. I love it. I don't leave home without it. So check out our friends, KOCBD.
And we talking about the dads, and we talking about the moms too, because I know the moms got a lot of daughters who cheerleaders. I got the moms got a lot of daughters who swim. We got a lot of daughters who play softball. This is the go-to. So please, moms, go to KOCBD.com for your daughters and dads too for your sons, and y'all make sure y'all get them this pain relief. Listen, JJ, I seen it firsthand. You know, we was in Las Vegas. JJ was having some back problems. Rubbed that KO on it. Boy, snapped them back together.
100% right, man. I only said dads because I see a couple comments in there saying we really ugly and a lot of moms don't watch our stuff. So it's the dads following us for boxing talk. But anyway, we were going to get into Wilder and Helenius, but I don't know if that's something you want to talk about because we still need to talk about Figueroa, which was the main event, the fill-in fight for Adrian Broner, Sergey Lipinets from Kazakhstan. Did you want to go down that route a little bit because it was? I mean,
I'm excited for Wilder to come back. I'm excited. Like, one thing I can't deny about Deontay Wilder, he brings truly great excitement to the heavyweight division. I mean, with the way he talks, you know, with the way he fights, and even when he was making excuses. But that was the most entertaining show in the world when Deontay Wilder was boxing. Like we say, I mean, as the time went on, it done got back to that, to where the heavyweight division starting to lift itself back up again. And I think with Deontay Wilder coming back against Helenius, great for the sport of boxing. But my thing is, where's Deontay Wilder at? How mentally focused is Deontay Wilder going to be coming back in this? We talk about you mentioned this, JJ. Deontay Wilder fought to take care of his daughter. He done did that 100 times. That's done. Wilder took how many fights him and Fury have? 3?
3 hellacious battles.
Yeah, he took 2 bad losses to Tyson Fury. Like, so where's he at mentally? I ain't saying that you can't take losses like that and come back, but I just wonder what Deontay Wilder is. But him coming back and being in the sport of boxing, I think it's great. And then it's tailor-made them putting him with one of his sparring partners in Helenius, a guy he knows. I think Deontay Wilder going to come back, show up, and show out.
Yeah, man. We were talking last episode about his motivation and if it's there, like you just mentioned, you know, now that he's arrived financially and he never, ever, ever has to worry about his family, not just his kid, not just his direct line, but his generation after, he doesn't have to worry about it. Is that motivation still there? Well, now that Usyk did what he did over the weekend, and now that we're talking Fury and Usyk, like, I think Wilder, that's a hell of a motivation. Knowing that, listen, if I get through Helenius this year, I could possibly be in line for undisputed. You know, yeah, he's tried 3 times against Fury, but at the end of the day, man, like, he was still 1 shot away. Deontay Wilder's always 1 shot away. Now, I thought Fury did what a lot of people expected him to do. I know there's some people who really love Deontay Wilder and have a giant table of contents of excuses for why he didn't win. But still, if they were to fight again, Wilder's always got to be. He's always dangerous. And then if Usyk were to somehow to beat Fury, don't you think Deontay Wilder's thinking I could beat this guy? Like,
Yeah.
So that could be some motivation right there that maybe we weren't talking about just last week. Deontay Wilder coming out for undisputed and shut everybody up, including this guy right here. Because I've had a lot to say about his boxing skills.
No, and I agree, because when I look at Deontay Wilder, his fighting style, I think he has a better chance than Anthony Joshua did against Usyk. Anthony Joshua is real fundamental, straight up and down. Deontay Wilder is what I call erratic, and he's a guy who's erratic with power. So I think that's probably be a tailor-made matchup. Because let's be honest, we did see Anthony Joshua lay some punches on Usyk. But now when I look at Deontay Wilder, I look at this guy as the hardest hitting heavyweight in boxing, right? I mean, Tyson Fury was able to take it. They just show how great Tyson Fury is.
Yeah.
But Usyk is a guy like who right there for him, and I think that's a good fight. I ain't saying I'll pick Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder a better chance than Anthony Joshua.
Like 90% of the time, I will pick the boxer versus the power puncher. But for that fight, if that fight were to happen, Usyk versus Wilder, like like we talking about Usyk being the naturally smaller man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the dude could box, but Jesus, dude, if Deontay Wilder would have landed one punch right there, we were talking about Deontay Wilder being an undisputed champion of the world.
No, seriously,
dude, it could happen. And again, I'm one of Deontay Wilder's biggest critics for what happens in the ring, and a little bit of, yeah, everybody knows that. But if Deontay Wilder to really, really, really put on his big boy pants and go out there and bust his ass against Robert Helenius, in my voice of Coach Silas, Helenius is no easy peasy, no easy peasy whatsoever, man. He'll ruin your plans real quick. Ask that Polish Kowalski or the babyface, whatever. He'll ruin your plans real quick. But if Wilder comes out the way we know Wilder can be, even though he didn't win those fights against Fury, he was prepared for those fights. If he comes out with that mindset and he beats Helenius, dude, Wilder could potentially be, and again, this is the Mr. Boxing Purist who hates Wilder's style and everything. Wilder could line himself up to be undisputed champ of the world.
Yeah, I agree, JJ. You're right on the money with that, because look, Wilder is #1 rated in the WBC. I don't think that Tyson Fury will be clapping his hands, stomping for joy, and stomping his feet to come back and fight Deontay Wilder again. I don't think that makes sense for Tyson Fury. So I think with him retiring, Deontay Wilder being #1 in the WBC, boy, that is the matchup right there. And I'm with you, bro. I like Usyk. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But Deontay Wilder power is something serious. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I got to see the way Deontay Wilder look against Helenius. Like you say, Helenius ain't no easy peasy. Yeah, you know how sparring partners go from being your sparring partners to beat you up. Go to the great fighters with Larry Holmes. Used to be Ali's sparring partner. Then he beat Ali up. We could just keep going and going and going.
Dude. Sparring partners are there to help you. They're there to help you in your camp. So they're on your team. Your sparring partners are on your team. So when people are like, oh, yeah, but he whooped his ass in sparring. No. You go from being your teammate to being your enemy. Ooh. They want your head. You know what I mean? So we... all that's out the window, man. So it's exciting. Corey, are you going to want to address anything we were discussing on Instagram today since we're in our home studios?
You talking about the Robert Garcia?
No. Well, it looks like Amos 922 is starving at the bit to tell us why we're.
I mean, if you want to say, me, JJ, you see this smoke right here?
I don't want
I'm ready for all the smoke.
Yeah, all right, listen, bro. We're not avoiding you. We have some sort of structure to our plan. We're gonna get you on here in a little bit to address the absolute minutia that you were saying today.
And look, we're gonna let you talk too.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah, we're
Amos,
gonna let you talk to your own detriment.
we
There's gonna be a
want
lot
that
of people
same
on.
respect.
Yeah,
When we're talking, we're gonna need you to give us that same respect, sir. We're gonna have a respectful
we'll get you on here in a
debate.
little bit, brother.
Even though we're gonna dominate you in the debate, it's gonna be real respectful, sir.
We got a Facebook user, just so you know, man, on this, we can only see the names of the YouTube names. So we can't see the Facebook user, but somebody said Robert Garcia told AJ he was up 3-0 after the third. Let's talk about that a little bit, man. What the hell?
Jay, you remember when I commented on
Yeah, I
that?
saw that.
What is he talking about? He up 3-0. Boy, say, JJ, listen. I wish we could play that clip right now that you play. Do you got that clip that we did on last week's show when you said it was about the money?
It's on our Instagram, bro.
It's all good. Well, look, y'all go to the Spit Bucket official, go to MRS_RTBA. Y'all go there and see that video. JJ, you said it best. It was all about the money. Listen, hold up. Let me hold back. Let me step back. Look, Robert Garcia, respected trainer. I'm not saying that he didn't come in this training camp to give AJ his best. I believe 100% that Robert Garcia put everything into getting AJ the best he thought he could get it. But like, Jesus, like with your trainer inside the ring with you, you got to tell me the truth. Don't tell me.
Hey, can I hear TV again?
Uh-oh. I take it that's my sign to start talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So listen, I'm going to jump on that too. I don't know what's going on with my homie, Corey Bradshaw, but I'm talking to you guys now with Robert Garcia. And listen, I took a lot of criticism this week. After my comments about Robert Garcia. Here, let me do this real quick and just zoom in on me until Mr. Bradshaw's back. I took a lot of criticism this week about Robert Garcia on our on the video, on that clip we posted. There's a lot more to that video. So obviously we're putting bits and pieces out there. But Corey brought up the question, what does Robert Garcia see in the fight with Anthony Joshua for him to have signed that fight? And the first thing that comes to mind, me knowing, the entire RGB, like the academy, Robert Garcia's history, Robert Garcia's past, the first thing that comes to mind was money. So yeah, I said money. Because Robert Garcia said, this will be the biggest fight that I've ever had. If I were to win this fight, this would be the biggest victory in my life. I wasn't so much criticizing that. I was bringing up the question. If you're a coach and you have trained your little brother, little guy who's been looking up to you your whole life, you've trained him to be a world champ, a very respected world champ. If you trained him to be a world champ, personally, is that less important to you than, I get the heavyweight championship of the world piece of it. Leading Anthony Joshua, who's already been heavyweight champ of the world, leading him to be champion again, that would be your biggest win of your career? I just brought up the question. For me personally, now obviously from the outside looking in, the media, the fans, we are going to say Robert Garcia, that was a huge win and possibly the biggest win of your life. But we brought up the question, is it the biggest win of his life from his perspective? Is there something wrong there that you're not giving that victory with your little brother becoming a world champ? I think personally for me, that would be the biggest win of my life, despite the money. Obviously, the money was huge this weekend. AJ, I think he booked it at $75 million. Coaches usually get paid 10%. You guys do the math. That's why I brought that up. I did take some criticism, but listen, much respect to Robert Garcia. We just thought you were in over your head by your own words, dude. Your own words. You said this was impossible to get Anthony Joshua prepared to take big shots again. So That's why I said that. That's why we brought the question up. We weren't just trying to poke the bear. But AJ's been champ before. So if he wins the championship again, how's it your biggest win in your career? So that's why we brought it up. We took a lot of shit online for it, but that's what we had to say about that. Let me see what's going on with Correa. Correa, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
Yeah.
So yeah, how much of that did you catch? Were you there?
Yeah, I was listening. I was listening the whole time. Yeah, that was just foolish. I think, when you've been in this game for a long time and then you have brothers and you have different fighters like, just think about it. Even when Maidana did the unthinkable against Adrian Broner, that's what really made Robert Garcia name. He was already respectable when Marcos Maidana did the unthinkable. How is that not one of your highlights? And you worked with Marcos Maidana. You helped him get in that position. But then when it comes, and then you got Mikey Garcia. You helped him. That's your brother. You never worked with AJ a day in your life.
And AJ's been champ before, bro. It's not like you took him to the promised land where he's never been before. He beat Vladimir Klitschko, man. Oh, I lost him again. Come back.
Hello, I'm here, Jay. Go.
Oh, no, I was just saying he beat Klitschko. So for those reasons are the reason we brought up the question. Again, the Spit Bucket podcast doesn't just like to ask questions because we like to ask questions and we want you to click on our stuff and then, haha, we got you. We're not putting clickbait out there. We're asking legitimate questions that'll make you think. Like, of course, we're sitting back saying, oh, Robert Garcia, trainer of all these little guys, is winning heavyweight champion. But for Robert Garcia to say this would be the biggest win of my career after you led your little brother to a championship and after Anthony Joshua's already been a champion before? Now, yeah, financially, boy, I ain't got nothing to say about that. That's a lot of money. And congratulations to you, Robert Garcia, because you deserved it. And a lot of people aren't going to watch this part of the clip. You deserved it because you put in your work and you put in your life to the sport of boxing. So, yeah, you deserve it. But for you to say it would have been the biggest win of your career, man, like, I'm assuming this is Dwayne who put up the Robert Garcia robbed AJ with no gun. But if it's not, I apologize. But whoever Screwdreams is, yeah, Robert Garcia took $7.5 million, and all he taught AJ was how to go up and down. Nope. That's the only difference I saw in this game. With the exception of that, man, Garcia got his payday, and he had his moment to shine. And that's my thoughts on it. With no respect to Robert Garcia, the dude, you put in your life to the sport, you deserve the payday.
Yeah, but like I said, Jay, to say it's the biggest win of your life. And for people to like, and let me be 100 with you, there was a lot of Mexican people. They got mad at us and was running with it because we were saying, why could this be the biggest win in your life? When you just met this guy probably a month and a half ago, everybody remember when AJ was on that world tour trying to look for a coach. I just thought it was ridiculous.
It was. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and do this drawing. I'm just making sure we don't have any new subscribers. The last one we got looks like Vidal Pena, I think. Hold on, real quick. Let me put his name on here. And Juan Pena. I bet the Pena family is sitting around the computer following us. And is that too much to ask for? I mean, to follow your friends and family and people that you're watching?
Like, that's crazy. You know what's so crazy about it? Because your family and friends to be the first.
First one's to not follow. So we've got 29 names in here. This is from last week to today. Let's see. Did we miss anybody else? Nope. Hey, Dwayne, did you go and follow KOCBD? I hope you did, because I don't have you on his list. This dude from Instagram, Amos922, is so excited about getting completely embarrassed on
He talking about we're not keeping that same energy. What do you mean?
He said I wasn't respectful on Instagram. You go back and read your own comments, sir. I'm not disrespectful to anybody, let alone some. See, I can't even say the words because I'm respectful.
It's just crazy. Some dudes.
All right, Dwayne, you're the last person coming on here. Hold on, let me do it. Go follow KOCBD. Search KOCBD on Facebook. 2 words, KOCBD. Like them. Get your name on this drawing. Or if you're watching us on Facebook, and if you haven't followed us on YouTube, get your name on this drawing by going to the Spit Bucket Podcast on YouTube. As soon as Screw Dream says I'm following KOCBD, I am going to do this drawing. And I'm going to share my screen this time. So while we're waiting, we're going to play a quick commercial. Because these guys at the end of the day are who the ones so graciously providing this. So follow KOCBD. As soon as we're back from the break, we will do the drawing for $250.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. We are all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I am absolutely, I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
You ready for this? You ready to give some money away?
Man, let's get this money. And shout out to everybody, man, who participated in this, who put their hand in the hat.
Hey, listen, this ain't the last time we give stuff away. We're going to be giving signed gloves away. We're going to be giving money away, tickets away. We'll be like Oprah Winfrey in here, right? Everybody. Merch.
Everybody. So,
TV, are you going to sign their merch?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be the sign is the Spit Bucket, baby.
No, man. Nobody wants my autograph. They want your autograph.
Crazy.
All right, hold on real quick. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen. So I'm going to share my screen real quick.
And shout out to everybody who following us on Facebook. We got 33,000 followers on Facebook. You know how hard it is to get people to jump over different places. So we do our thing on Facebook. We're trying to build our audience on here. And it's going to all come together because we're going to be consistent going forward, Monday through Wednesday, every night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, man. We're going to use random.org, all right? It's a website that we have no control over. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is generate a random number right here, okay? So we're going to see how many people we got in this drawing, 1 through 30, right on the nose, 30 people, okay? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We're going to go back to random.org, 1 through 30. This is going to be the magic number. Whatever number that spits out here is going to be the magic number when we shuffle the names. So right now, 1 through 30, generate. Number 10 is the magic number. So what we're going to do is go back over here and we're going to copy this entire list down all the way to Dwayne.
He said, Dwayne, come on, just make sure your boy wins.
Now we're going to go over here to list randomizer. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to enter all the names, Control V, from up top. Now whatever name ends up with the number 10 on it, to the left of it, will be the winner of tonight's $250. You ready, Corey? This is the first Spit Bucket giveaway. No, actually, it's not our first giveaway. We've done a lot of giveaways. No, we've done a few $1,000 giveaways. Remember the $1,000 giveaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is This one just feels like our first real one. I don't know why. Probably because of that beautiful hat you're wearing on top of your head.
Ooh.
All right, here we go. We're looking for number 10. In 3, 2, 1. A. Nicholas.
Oh, that's a modest. That's my boy.
Oh, that's your boy.
He
All right.
won.
Well, that one right below is my mom. So she's probably about to call me with the earful why I didn't make it number 11.
He won.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm finna reach out to him now. I don't know if he's watching, but I'm finna tell him to come get in the chat.
Congratulations. Who was it?
Amadas A. Nicholas.
Nicholas. $250. See if he sees that. That's from us. Congratulations, A. Nicholas. All right, we gave away $250. Dwayne, sorry we made you do all that extra work. But you were in the running, brother. He said do a redo. All right, man. So we gave. Oh, you're muted right now, Corey. Oh, hold on. He said muted. So yeah, man, that was exciting. All right, let's get right back in the mix of things. So thank you, KO Therapeutics, KOCBD.com. Thank you very much for just the partnership, brothers. And let's wait for Corey to come back doing whatever he's doing because we got some more to talk.
Hey, you gonna keep that up there, Jay?
Oh,
He finna be on here in a minute, I think.
oh, you got your guy who just won?
Yeah, he gonna be on here in a minute, I think.
Oh, cool. We'll get him on.
Yeah, shout out to him, bro. Everybody who
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas. Thank you, everything. Let's talk a little bit about the UFC that happened, bro. Kind of ironic after our last episode. But let's talk about what we saw on Saturday night.
Is Juan Pena, is that
It's Johnny.
Johnny? Is that Johnny? Yeah, Johnny, I love the tacos. Me and my wife, we love them. And we want some more.
Oh, how did you like the tacos? Yeah, absolutely. We would love some more. If you want to be the title sponsor to the Spit Bucket, a sponsor to the Spit Bucket, you'd have your tacos on every episode.
I love the taco. I do. I ain't gonna lie to you, Jay, and I ain't gassing you up either. Like them was better than that restaurant.
The Paisano. You're gonna put Amanda in a sticky situation because she loves that place.
I ain't lying.
She loves that
I ain't
place.
just saying that either.
Hey Johnny, I think you're with Amanda. Ask her who does she like more, Paisanos or your tacos? Let's see what she says. Oh, listen to Amanda say my dads are better.
I ain't lying.
Shaking hands and kissing babies.
She said, "Duh."
Hey, Al Money, we were just doing one entry per person, bro. Like, if you already followed the Spit Bucket podcast and then you follow KO, that was still one entry. So nobody had 2 entries on there. But anyway, man, yeah, let's talk about Kamaru Usman, man, and Edwards. The UFC, what number was it? They've had so many of them.
278.
Trying to catch up to boxing. 278.
Oh, they don't call it surpassed it, but if we have time, we'll get into that later.
Listen, let me set the stage real quick for everybody. You know, we've been watching boxing all day. You know, we saw the great DAZN card. We saw Usyk defend his championship. Then we had some tacos, celebrating all the birthdays, and for me specifically, my wife's birthday on Saturday night, cooking out tacos. Had the projector up outside, threw on the UFC. Finally get to the main event after watching the preseason Cowboys first half. Get to the main event. Corey's so excited. This guy who defended the UFC so much leaves right before the 5th round of the main event. He leaves because this was boring. He was getting sleepy. Isn't that why you said?
I thought it was over, Jay. Remember,
We all did, bro.
I said,
everybody did.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, bro, he was out of there. And then The unthinkable happens. Damn it. Let me see if I can play this video. Corey, you take over from here, man. I want to play the unthinkable.
Like, look, that's what's so disappointing. I want y'all to understand. It's just like missing the game-winning final shot, right? Man, when I tell y'all that I left in the 4th round, and then I'm in the car, finna go, JJ called me and said, "Great." He just knocked him out. I thought he was playing with me. But my jaw dropped. And y'all, listen, that's one of the moments that you could never get back. See, that's one of the moments you could be jealous of for a lifetime, because everybody else who was watching the UFC that night, they was watching it, even though they knew it was probably over. But then, boom. That's why UFC is a great sport.
Definitely a great sport. I don't have the video, man. I don't have the video, but again, you're about to bash me. But what was Edwards' first name?
Leon
Edwards. Leon Edwards did the unthinkable. He had won 10 fights in a row. His last loss was to Usman. Usman was in his face. I'm sorry I don't have the video, guys. I had a bunch of good footage, but I'm having some issues here. Usman was in his face as Bruce Buffer was jumping around and introducing him and acting, the way Bruce Buffer does. And Corey was loving it the whole time. How you say, Corey? Clapping and screaming and shouting for Bruce Buffer. Usman was all in his face. And this was the classic when talking that goes wrong. Bro, and listen, I'm always the one to talk about the lucky shot in UFC. This was no lucky shot. This might be the most perfectly executed head kick that I've ever seen since I've watched UFC. And the very first one I ever watched live was UFC 4. So for those of y'all who say I'm hating on UFC, keep it moving with that stuff. No, I had some criticism, some harsh criticism outside of our talk. Listen, it was a feint right, a feint jab, all to get Mr. Usman's head moving to the right. And just as that feint jab left put out, Usman got kicked. Sorry I don't have the replay, but I'm trying to do it as best I can. Ooh, Usman got kicked. Gravity took over, and the world went nuts. The kick hurt around the world. Corey, has there been a better placed leg kick with all that was on the line in the history of the UFC?
No, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? That's like with less than 1 minute left, Jason. Look, Leon Rocky Edwards came out in that first ring. He did what nobody was able to do ever in the UFC, and take Kamaru Usman down to the ground, get him in a butterfly triangle on his back, trying to get a submission like no one's ever. We never seen Kamaru Usman in a predicament like that. He came out strong that first round. Then the second round, Usman being the great champion he's been, he take over. Third round, take over. Then fourth round, I should have knew something. Because as soon as that fourth round was over, Usman walked over there so confident, looking at him, while Edwards was walking back to his corner. Man, then that fifth round, that's just a magical moment. Dana White said it himself. He said that's about with the best of them in the history of the UFC.
Bro, listen, me being the boxing purist, that reminded me of Chavez Meldrick Taylor, dude. Like, everybody thought it was over for Chavez in this case. Meldrick Taylor had dominated the whole fight. Yeah, Edwards had his moment in the first round. I think everybody had the score for Edwards after that first round because he had Usman there. But after that, it was a dog walk. Usman controlled the entire fight. Fifth round, literally last minute. Again, let's make them relations to Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. The last minute of the fight, dude, to me, for what was on the line, Usman's record, his reputation, I don't think I've ever seen something like that in the UFC, bro. And to your credit, it's the beautiful part of the sport. The beautiful part of the sport. And And I don't want nobody to get it twisted. I respect every person that walks into the damn octagon or into a cage. I have my personal preference. But man, big salute to Leon Edwards for achieving his goal. And you know what, man? Corey, earlier in the fight, remember I leaned over and asked you. I said, imagine what it feels like knowing that with one shot, you can change your life. Remember? And then he did that, dude. We saw a man's life change. He was FaceTiming with his mama after that fight. I'm pretty sure.
And that's what I was just going to say. That was the beautifulest part of it. He said, Mom, you know how they talk across the Mom, I told you, Mom. And he was crying. That was a beautiful moment for Leon Edwards. That's a beautiful moment for the people in Birmingham, England, because Dana White did announce that the rematch will happen, and it will happen over there. I know he said Wembley, but I think they probably reaching more for the O2 Arena.
Yeah, for sure.
A game changer event down there. And this was crazy right here because Leon Edwards, he did have his moments in that fight. But think about it, not being from here, right? And everybody know when you go like to a high altitude place like Denver or Salt Lake City, like your body ain't gonna get used to that in 2 weeks. Leon Edwards said it best. He said, I'll be one in my worst performance. So just think about him being healthy with the regular air. Now,
regular air.
With the regular air. Look, Jay, now he's going back to his home country. All that confidence he gonna got. And now Usman really got something to think about.
Yeah. Bro, the last part you said, that confidence, might be a little more important than the regular air. The confidence, dude. You know what I mean? So, hey, even with everything you said, the purist in me is gonna say that Usman should take that rubber match, right? That third fight. I still think he's gonna be a heavy betting favorite.
Who, Usman?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the money may be split on this one. You got to understand, Jay, like, Usman, you know, he's going to probably be 36 by the time the rematch comes. You know, like when you get knocked out like that, it's easier for you to get knocked out again. Like he went into shock, JJ. It wasn't like no knockout to where it's just silly. He went on ground and he was crook.
Yeah. God, I got a picture up and I would love to show it, but I can't. Damn. I'm sorry. I have failed you guys. Yeah, man. So yeah, great UFC card. The explosion was spectacular, man. I mean, for one moment around the entire world, everybody jumped out of their seats except for Corey. Everybody jumped out of their seats because that was an incredible moment, history-making moment. It was beautiful. And shout out to the UFC for all the things that they do right. I'm not one to just sit here and focus on the wrongs. I give all the respect to all my MMA brethren as much as I do the boxing guys. I have a preference. I have my reasons, and I'm willing to debate them forever. But no love lost for the. I love me some UFC guys. So hell of a fight. We haven't talked about the other fights, though, Corey. The Navarrete fight, where he was coming back against Eduardo Baez. There's not a whole lot to cover here, besides a dominant performance by Navarrete. Edward Baez did land a shot for the ages. I think it was the second or third round that was as shocking as Usman getting kicked to the head. But Navarrete won the fight, came back. Do you have much to say about that? Did you see anything much that...
I mean, no, not really. I just want to see him fight Shakur Stevenson. I don't know why he said, I want to fight Oscar Valdez or Shakur Stevenson. Like, that should be the fight right there. Next, him against Shakur Stevenson. Like, but that's what we go with. That's what boxers do. Like, they play it safe. They don't care about their fans out here from the 214 to across the pond. They play it safe. Compared to the UFC, like you say, doing it right.
Yeah, but here's the thing, bro. Now, after what we saw on Saturday, and yeah, he could have been a little bit of ring rust. He said it himself after the fight. He he said, I didn't think there was anything I should be worried about, but obviously I was proved wrong. But a lot of guys wouldn't have stood up, got up from that shot. Eduardo Baez threw at him, dude. I mean, it clean cocked, like he was out. I thought it was done. But he got back up. And now here is, you know what? I'm going to go and talk about it. I was going to bring this up if we ever brought up our UFC debate. And I should have video for this. But Navarrete is the better boxer. He's the better fighter. He was a huge favorite in Vegas. Whatever, all those things, right? He got caught with a shot that 99% of people do not get back up from. Had that been in the UFC, he'd have got shot hit with that shot. Baez would have jumped on him. Fight over. Now, if you appreciate that about the UFC, totally cool. I got nothing against. I can't make you like what I like, but that for me is the difference in boxing and UFC. That is the biggest difference. When I talk about I like the sport, it being the gentleman's sport. Like I love how the gentleman's sport about it. Now, hold on, let me finish because I know you're itching over there. When I saw Baez get back up from that shot that would have ended it in another sport and would have ended it against a lot of other fighters, and he came back and dominated that fight, that showed me how much I appreciate boxing because the sport allowed the better man to win that fight.
Listen.
Let's hear it.
That's accurate on what you're saying. But the thing is, with UFC, they wear smaller gloves, JJ. With UFC, JJ, they got other arsenals they could use. So it's a big difference with saying you love the sport. You watch Paulo Acosta versus Luke Rocco. That didn't make you love the sport.
Oh my God. I love these fighters, bro. I love these fighters more than I love the sport. Yeah.
But the thing, when you try to make examples and say Navarrete got knocked down, got cold cocked, looked like he was dead, looked like he was looking up at birds just flying around his head in the sky. And he got up and he fought through it. I mean, to me, that just shows a character in him. And also, you got to understand, in boxing, they use bigger gloves than they do in the UFC. Like much credit to him, like you say. It would have been a lot of fighters when they got up from that shot. But that shows that Navarrete is one of them tough mother shut your mouth, and he deserves credit to the fullest.
No, 100%. And all those things you said about the UFC, man, I feel like I'm still kind of emotionally drained from our last debate. And I kind of was hoping that we didn't go too hard into it. But all those things you said about UFC are all what makes the UFC great. The smaller gloves, the multiple arts within, the multiple practices within one sport. That's what makes it great. But that's the small little differences that I like boxing better and why I always, the bigger gloves are a big part to do with it. It makes it a more dangerous sport because you're taking a sustained beating for 12 rounds, whereas in UFC, a lot of the times you'll get hit with that shot and it's the end of the night. So it's a more dangerous sport. Nobody's ever died in UFC. I can't speak for MMA as a sport, but I know in UFC nobody's ever died. So boxing does need to fix that part where more people have died in it. But seeing somebody get clipped, bounce back up, and
how about you would see smaller going 3 and 5 rounds instead of boxing? When you get on that championship level, you're going 10 to 12 rounds. That could be the difference.
Yeah, but 3 rounds for a professional, that's 15 minutes, bro. If you're a professional
I ain't
fighter, you
say
should
3
fight.
rounds. I say that's the difference.
Yeah.
And why you done seen fatalities in boxing when they used to go 15 rounds, when they used to go as many rounds as they did back in the day. That's the reason why it's been so many fatalities. What UFC learned is they're not going to do like boxing and go the extra limit. They're going to put their fighters in the safest position.
100%, bro. I want to hit up the little Migo, the Omar Figueroa fight against Lipinets, the Showtime card. Man, we saw something that obviously during the week, a lot of the air and the energy was taken out of that fight after Adrian Broner had to pull out. Most people saw Adrian Broner pulling out, Lipinets coming in, and they were like, all right, well, Figueroa is really going to win this fight now. Lipinets shocked the world. I wouldn't say shocked the world, but Lipinets put off the upset. Had the stoppage. Figueroa's corner stopped the fight. So big ups to him. Salute to Lipinets. But the big story was, it looks like Figueroa's calling it quits. It looks like emotionally and mentally, boxing has beaten him. He said he's been in the fight game for 27 years, and Jim Gray asked him if he wanted anything to do with it, like being a commentator or something. And he's like, no, man, boxing has been too much of my life. I don't want anything to do with it. So again, homeboy, what's homeboy's name? Whatever. We're going to talk a little mental health or whatever, but that was the reason the fight lost its buzz. And then after the fight, Figueroa was talking about not being emotionally there. What's your take on it, man? I know we've kind of beat this conversation to death, but what's your take on Figueroa, where he goes from here? You know, what do you think about the card, man?
Oh, no, he done. You know, we were speaking about this offline, and you know how you talking about how Figueroa daddy told him, if you don't go ahead and show me something, I'm gonna stop the fight. Then how Figueroa went in there and didn't show him nothing.
So
He was
yeah.
hoping and the wishing and the hoping that his daddy stop the fight. Right?
Yep.
So it's over with. Am I surprised? Absolutely not. When I look at Lipinets, he's a dog.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think stylistically that was a bad matchup. When we look at Brendan Figueroa in his last couple of matchups he ain't looked that well. And Lipinets has always been consistent. I think it's over with, but like you say, we've beaten a dead horse. Well, I'm gonna keep on beating that dead horse until there ain't no more dead horse to beat. Because what people do have to understand, mental health plays a part, and it's a serious condition that we must talk about. We must make everybody aware. That's from the 214 to across the pond, because that's what's wrong with men, and that's what's wrong with some women too. Because a lot of us, we have too much pride. We don't want to speak out about a certain subject because our pride gets the best of us. That's why I salute all these individuals who've been speaking out about mental health, making it more aware than it ever been, talked about from the 214 to across the pond. I think it's very much needed, and I just appreciate the conversation. And that's one thing, me, JJ Solomon, the Spit Bucket, everybody who represents us with the Spit Bucket is going to keep talking about and keep pursuing until the day, you know, that we're no longer on this earth.
100%, man. And big shout out to Figueroa. Again, another guy who has given his life to the sport. And yeah, he's given his life to the sport for his income and to make money and all that. But at the end of the day, these guys are performers. They're entertainers. They're artists. They're on the big screen. So a lot of that sacrifice, a lot of that pressure, a lot of that a lot of that not being able to sleep at night was so he can give back to the fans. And we should understand that he sacrificed a lot of normal parts of his life. You know, being there for certain things, being there for certain family functions, being able to, he sacrificed a lot of that, and a lot of that was for us. Yeah, I understand that's how they get paid. But Adrian Broner, Omar Figueroa, Ryan Garcia, Danny Garcia, Patty the Bad, whatever the dude's name is in UFC, all these guys are sacrificing themselves. We had a long conversation with Bernard Hopkins, about an hour and a half's worth, talking about how these guys sacrifice themselves. And a big part of that, aside from their paycheck, is for us. So for us to sit back, and this was the argument we had against Homeboy earlier, and sit here and decide who was wrong and who was right and who was faking and who wasn't, that's silly, man, because there's kids watching. There's adults watching who are too embarrassed to talk about these things. So when the Bronas and the Figueroa got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, man, and he's still over here training for a fight. So yeah, it's hard to train for a fight where the objective is to not get hit. Most of our jobs, we go to work with an objective, and it's like don't lose customers or be nice to people or whatever. Make sure you put the shot in the needle in the right vein. These guys' objective is to hit another person and not get hit. That itself is absurd. So most of these people who are talking shit about any of these guys are way out of line because we don't know what that feels like. We don't. We don't sign up to fight for these types of jobs. So yeah, man, I respect it all. Figueroa, dude, just to talk on the fight a little bit, he looked like a shot fighter. The entire world who was watching that, every member of the media, the entire broadcasting crew, every fan of the was just begging for Omar Figueroa Sr. to stop that fight. Because yeah, as much as we like to see violence and all that stuff, I would hope to believe that we give a damn more about our lives more, and everybody spoke up that night, and the dad and the coach did the right thing in stopping that fight. And I wish nothing but Omar Figueroa the best. Listen, your family's still in good hands with little brother and little sister. Family's still in good hands. But like you said, Corey, we're going to keep on talking about this.
You know what it is?
Our little platform makes a difference, brother.
I just think it's the pressure, right?
Yeah, bro, no doubt.
These guys put so much pressure on themselves. They family members who bringing them up, put so much pressure on them. But then this the key component. They're actually winning. They shining. Like all this stuff that people telling them are actually true. You hear me?
Try to be serious here, this guy. Yeah,
look, real quick, actually true. So with these guys making it to the platform, making these hundreds of thousands, then start making millions of dollars, right? And then the pressure of a lot of family members, hands out, the pressure of some of them not being able to trust no one, it's just going through a lot. So it's the pressure because they build themselves up thinking they're ready for that, signing through the amateurs. And then when they make it to the pro, they making this money. Everybody's starting to treat them different. Then they lose a fight, maybe 2 fights. And then they just start coming down on them because, this was supposed to be an ending like a Floyd Mayweather end.
Yeah, 100%, dog. I love it, dude. I love it, bro. And I see it in your eyes from right over here that you mean it. And dude, especially you, Corey, like, I'm getting to the point I'm going to the gym now, but you've seen these little kids turn into young adults all the time you spend in these gyms locally. And I see why, I see how that part of it is so important to you. We see these little kids growing to young adults. And then the guys who do get success, that's so much pressure from the financial side of it to the training side of it. And it just, I hate it. I hate it that people just sit back and pick and choose. Like the guy we were talking about earlier, homeboy that's waiting in the chat, just waiting his whole night. Yeah, I think he's in there somewhere. He might have left. But we weren't sitting there saying Adrian Broner, whether he's wrong or right. Our anger was towards Tank Davis. Like, we can't sit here and pretend, all right, this guy's real, this guy's not real, this guy's real. Tank Davis, our point was towards Tank. You can't just sit on your pedestal and decide who's wrong or right, but you have to at least listen to these people. Because to our point, if something were to happen to AB or any of the other boxer, what the hell's Tank going to say then? He's going to look like a fool. Going to look like a big fool. Listen who's on. Mr. Nicholas.
He said, I won. Give me my money.
There's a stipulation to that. You have to get us 100 new subscribers. No, I'm just kidding, brother.
100. He like, what? He probably going to jump up. But JJ, see, this is the thing with Tank. He invincible right now, right?
Yeah.
He invincible. He still got it in his mind that he going to finish his career undefeated. That's not going to happen to him. You're not going to finish undefeated. Ain't nail boxer going to finish undefeated. If you look at the history of boxing, it's just certain few. See, the difference why Tank talking loosely, like he talking and with such ignorance and arrogance in the way he said it. See, he been on the good side, JJ. Just easy to be on the good side when everything going well. But then when you get on that other side that you ain't never seen before, look at Teofimo Lopez. Look how he reacted after his loss. Then we found out about Tio. Look at Ryan Garcia. This dude was even winning. Like, but the stardom was just so crazy. Example, shout out to Maple Avenue Boxing Gym, right? I told you when I was at Maple, Ryan Garcia, this is how popular this guy was. He was in Dallas, so he did a meet and greet. JJ, when I tell you
5 years ago too.
Yeah, 5 years ago. When I tell you that line was from right there to all the way down there. Like if anybody ain't familiar with the State Farm, Texas, if you're trying to go get you something to eat or play a game or get on a ride, y'all know, or like Six Flags. If you're trying to do activities or even going to Disney World, y'all know how long them lines be. And I heard daddies like say they brought their daughter 10 hours to see this guy. So with all of that being on him, how can you not go through stuff with getting all this stuff dressed on you? You going from a nobody just an amateur being popular to the whole world on you.
It's like, pressure that 99% of people don't understand, dog. And that's what's so frustrating. Seeing all these people just sitting back and talking shit. Even about the Anthony Joshua thing after the fight, man, like your first reaction is to say, look at this asshole, he's being selfish, blah, blah, blah. But pressure, man, we're human beings and we crack. We crack under that pressure sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. And until the day I die, I'm not going to stop letting people know that it's okay to not be okay. It's perfectly normal. And if anybody watching right now, or if you got anybody next to you, it's okay to talk about it. And I will talk about that till the death of me. And like I said last time, anybody who has a problem with it, then keep it moving.
Hey, Joe, speaking of that, think about the sport we love that's number one in the United States of America, in the National Football League. Think about how many CTE them football players have. Think about the mental frustration. Look, I don't know if you've seen that story. I hope you know they get it figured out. But Frank Gore just got arrested, right? And they say he got arrested in Atlantic City. You know, this is a real thing. For getting into it with a woman that was younger, and there was people who witnesses who said, I don't know how true it is, but this is the story came out. Witnesses saying that he drugged the woman butt naked back to the room. I'm just saying, that's what the stories that came out. He did get arrested, which is true. I'm just saying, remember, Frank Gore was a guy who played for a long time. It was good for a long time. So, like I'm saying, this mental health stuff is real. It's just like these fighters taking big punches. Like you said about the UFC. That is kind of what separates the UFC and boxing in hand strike. Because like you say, you got to start as an amateur. You got to have the different techniques, the fundamentals. Just like when Fernando Vargas got set up by Trinidad, right? Trinidad threw a 3-punch combination. Boom. He had Vargas thinking. Then he threw the lead right. Vargas fell for it. Boom. Left hook. Now, you got to be trained to do that, to set up. And that's the difference in boxing.
Yeah. Needless to say, man, I'm glad we're talking about it, and it just seems like it's getting some momentum. People are talking about it. Figueroa, everybody's talking about it. And you know what's shitty, Corey? Is that there's a handful of boxing fans who are saying, I'm tired about talking about this. Right? Like knowing the people we know, knowing the audience we know. They want these guys to come out here and put on shows for us every Saturday night. Put their lives on the line and do 6-week training camps where they can't even make love to their wives because they're across country. But then, I'm tired about talking about this. We're getting soft as a sport. Listen, man. There's a reason. Have you heard Riddick Bowe talk?
Yeah.
Have you heard, even to your point earlier, Fernando Vargas is starting to slur his word, Meldrick Taylor. Have you heard some of these people talk?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something to it, guys. And us at the Spit Bucket are not going to, we got our Warrior Foundation where 10% of our money goes to people who are permanently damaged. And now we're talking about it. So obviously there's a lot of boxing channels to talk. If you just want to hear about Canelo and Triple G and why are we watching a third fight, then go to those guys. But we give a damn about these fighters from when they're little until they're big. And then after they retire. So that's what we're in it for. You guys are going to see these two faces for a long time because we love the sport of boxing. So get used to it. I think homeboy left, but we get him on here, but I'm really not in the mood. Hey, Corey, I do want to give a shout out, man, because he allowed us to spend some time with him when we were in Vegas. But congratulations to Mr.
Nico Ali Walsh.
Yeah, Nico Ali Walsh. I was trying to remember if he had a nickname with him. But Nico Ali Walsh came out on the Navarrete undercard on ESPN on Saturday. Six fights.
Together, Jay.
He's getting better every fight, bro.
He's getting better. Like, I don't look like I say. I don't look. The thing about I ain't gonna never put too much into it, but he shows me he's that skillful, and to where he's like you said, we had a chance to watch him work out. We had a chance to watch him spar with an unknown heavyweight we ain't gonna mention, but it was a heavyweight who, you know, got a name.
Yeah, people know him.
Yeah, and it was light sparring, and we seen this guy working. But when I watched Nico Ali Walsh, and then even when we was talking to him, he seemed like he don't let the fame get into his head. He really seemed like he got that. I ain't sure, don't think I'm reaching, but I think when that generation floods, it's just in you. He really got that in him where he has something to prove, like his granddaddy did. And I'm seeing the progression, fight by fight. Will he end up being champion? It's yet to be determined. But what I'm seeing by him so far and the way the Top Rank is moving him, superb.
Dude, and I can't disagree with a single thing you said. One of my favorite things about what we took from the time we spent with him was when he said, you asked him the question, a lot of people will say that you're only on ESPN because of your grandfather. And, you know, a lot of boxers would be like, no, somebody see me in practice, somebody see me training or something. But what I loved about what Nico Ali Walsh said was, you're right. I am here because of my grandfather, but I'm going to stay here because of my work. And we saw that dude putting in work, and we're seeing an improvement from fight to fight to fight. Look, Nico Ali Walsh is probably set. His family's probably set. So I'm sure, I don't know his financial situation, but I'm sure it's trickling down to him. That's one guy that doesn't have to do it, but he does it. He's humble. He's hungry. He wants to prove people wrong. So listen, I'm a fan of Nico, not because of who his grandfather is, but because of the work he's putting into the sport. And I will continue to follow him. And again, as long as we're seeing improvement, he won his fight on Saturday with a body shot. You don't start seeing body shot victories till later in people's career. And it was beautiful. Beautiful liver shot.
Because he had the personality that fit it, too.
Oh, yeah, man.
He wasn't, you know, hot and bothered like our former #1 pound-for-pound fighter we had on our list that we seen at the Virgil card, you know, who I think is, you know, I'm talking about Terence Crawford. I think he's the most boring #1 pound-for-pound fighter ever. And that ain't no reach. Like, that's a fact. If you could pull me a guy who is #1 pound-for-pound, more boring than Terence Crawford, I'll never say it again. But this guy, Nico, you got that in factor. He liked the touch. He liked the lights, camera action in his face. I love that about it. Plus, he hungry. Like you say, his work ethic. We seen it. His coach, even though one of his coaches, I don't even know if that was his head coach or one of his coaches, but he liked to be coached. He liked to be pushed. We seen that. And I'm just with you. I'm looking forward to see what this dude could do. And like you say, the intrigue about him was his grandfather's name. But after us meeting him and get to know him and watching his progression, he made us a fan of him.
100%, bro. He has that chip on his shoulder, kind of. You know, what kind of remind me of is Blair the Flair, where these guys may not be the most gifted people, so they're compensating with work. They're putting in the work in the gym. They're doing the extra stuff. They're going the extra mile because they want greatness for their name. Of course, they want paychecks, but they want greatness for their name. And you can see that in people like Blair the Flair and in Nico Ali Walsh. You know, not everybody's Shakur Stevenson where you, and this ain't enough. I got to be careful what I say. Shakur Stevenson's a hard-ass worker, but the guy is gifted, and no fault to his own. The guy is gifted, which is why I think he's the next big thing in boxing. But not everybody has that skill set that you're just born with. It's a difference. And people like Blair the Flair, people like Nico Ali Walsh are putting in that work to compensate for what they weren't maybe necessarily born with. So shout out. I wanted to give him a quick shout out, man. And I don't know if you got any.
You know who else we shout out to? You know, because I don't think we had no shout. Did we give a shout out to Teofimo?
Teofimo. I think we talked
I
about
think we did, but let me ask you now, JJ, after that fight soaking in on you for a couple of weeks, like when I look at his performance, I think it was magnificent after watching it back. With your second look on it?
I watched it a second time, and I just think there's still too much on the table that was unanswered for me. Teofimo was obviously the favorite. He was obviously the more skilled fighter. And I don't like to say things because, for example, when people talk about Boots and Virgil, and I'm just follow me here, and whether you think Boots is the better of the two or Virgil, the question is, who have they fought? It's always like that. Who have they fought? And you can do that for both of them. Both of them have names on the record, but both of them don't have that name yet. But I like to go off what we saw in the ring. How did they finish them? Were they super exposed? Were there some divisions? So yeah, maybe they haven't fought Hall of Famers, but the eyeball test tells you that they've got a bright future. For me, again, in my opinion, what I saw at Teofimo Lopez on his comeback fight, there were still a lot of vulnerabilities where if he was fighting somebody, obviously like Josh Taylor, like the guy he's chasing, or Regis, even Regis, like somebody like that who's a true 140 pounder, who is a proven fighter, who is a former champ or current champ, I think will give Teofimo Lopez some trouble based on what we saw.
I mean, Jay, come on now.
You might say I'm being overcritical.
Yeah, I think
you might,
been
and
a little bit too.
I could take that.
I think you've been a little bit too overcritical because the way Teofimo lost against George Kambosos, bro, and the excuses he made, right? Like everything. Like for him to come back and put on the performance like that, bro, and actually stopping that guy, fam, I got to give Teofimo credit because you got to think about a guy who's as prideful as Teofimo. Like this was a guy who was really walking around thinking that his instinct for real. And to be embarrassed like that on a national stage, when you was this big name, everybody had them eyeballs on you, looking at you like that. And for him to take that loss like that and come back retooled and able to stop an ample guy who had over 30-some wins, I think that is a good comeback performance. It showed me T.O. he didn't get mentally shocked. It showed me his skill is in the game.
For sure. So earlier when I said maybe, because me and you talk about this too, because you were being a little overcritical too the first night, and I was too, and maybe here's where that came from, Corey. We saw the way he made excuses after the Kambosos loss. We saw how he thought he was the second coming of Jesus Christ after he beat Lomachenko. So he set that bar so high for himself that we are looking over here for Teofimo. So then we're expecting just a shocking, over-the-top, perfect fight. And the fight wasn't perfect for me. But maybe I'm being overcritical because, hey, Teo, you want us to see you as an elite fighter. You want us to see you as one of the best. You want us to see you as, oh, you're going to be talking about me for decades after I retire. Well, I went into the fight with that mindset because you and your dad don't shut up about it. That's all I hear. So then when I see a mediocre performance against a journeyman at 140 pounds, yeah, of course I'm going to be overcritical. But let me settle down. You're right, Corey. He did what he was supposed to do. He came out and knocked out a less than top contender at 140. So now, Teofimo Lopez, let's see what else you can do if you're really about that takeover life.
But we know he definitely about to take over life. His resume speaks for itself. But what I'm saying, Teofimo showed me in this fight when I rewatched it again, patience. It was moments in that fight where he was overly excited. He was like, he thought this was Hosman. Like, you know how he posed for the hammer and he do his backflip. He was overly, throwing his punches. But when I was watching the fight, I seen him stop and think about it and start making the necessary adjustments he needed to get that guy out of there. So I saw a lot of ring IQ, and I saw a guy that power went up to 140. I know it's not the elite league competition, but after losing the way T.O. did, you don't want to put him in there against an elite guy, but you want to put him in there against a guy that's good enough to test him. And let's give that guy credit. He did test T.O. I mean, he wasn't really winning the rounds, but, he was catching T.O. a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Hey, man, well, look, it's not oh, look who popped back up. I've been in here over an hour. I'm about to leave in a second. Y'all take it.
Get him on, Jay.
You want to get him on? We don't have too much time left. Do you want to do this right now or you want to do this another time? Because you want to do it now? It's 8:52.
Nah,
it's not it. Like, we ending on a positive note. This guy's going to get me hot and bothered.
Yeah.
We'll get him on, bro. We'll get you on for real. We want everybody to talk. We want everybody a chance.
And then we want to be in our studio.
Yeah, bro. We want to give you a better platform. Even though we disagree with what you have to say, we want to get you a better platform. So we'll be back in our studio. Tomorrw is my wife's birthday. So Corey and I haven't decided 100% if we're going to be live tomorrow. But for sure, we'll be back Wednesday. So we'll address you soon. Again, even though we disagree, we still want to give you a chance to come on and speak your mind. So my bad, we ran out of time. I thought you were watching earlier, and I thought maybe you left. Craig, I never get these. I'm still new to the game, but let me just enjoy this for a second. I feel good. Appreciate you, LaMarcus Robinson. But hey, Craig, if you're good with it, brother, if you're good with it, man, I got folks waiting because they're gonna go. I got a bunch of people in town for my wife's birthday, man. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. If you're good with it.
Oh yeah, man. Once again, everybody, shout out to y'all. Shout out to my boy A. Nicholas for winning that $250 drawing. We finna give you your money as soon as we stop this broadcast. Once again,
he has to tag us, and he has to tag KOCBD on a screenshot of the money. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do
something,
that,
bro. Make a post and tag both of us.
Yeah, do that. And once again, shout out to our guys, KO Therapeutic. Jay, play them one more time. Then we can finish out. You can just roll it. Last clip out. So I salute to everybody. KO Therapeutic. My guy JJ.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. We are all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
One more final shout out to the folks over at KO Therapeutics, KO CBD. Use the code TSB10. trust me, if you're having pain, whether you're an athlete, a hard-ass worker, or somebody who just has back pain from sitting on their ass all day, go to KOCBD.com. Use the code TSB10. Guys, for now, we're out. Corey, any final thoughts?
Man, TSB10. Use TSB10. Everybody go to KO Therapeutics, baby. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out. Not sure about tomorrow. Look on social media, but for sure we'll be back Wednesday. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Share it. Subscribe to us. Please show us some love. We will be back soon. Y'all have a good night.
This is JJ Solomon.
This is Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
Whoopsie. See y'all later.